to do is we're just going to do a quick overview in terms of what were the events that were occurring in Fires of 2000, and as sounds like some of you were here, you can probably relive those 14 years ago, kind of what some of the impacts that were happening not only to the Bitterroot Valley residents but also to the firefighters that came and went throughout the course of the summer. It was a pretty interesting scene, but the impact of the fire siege of 2000 was pretty impressive. Of all the fires combined, we had a total of just over 356,000 acres, and we're going to kind of walk through that chronology of events that kind of led up to why it was so bad and how many fires. And like I said, I want you to put yourself in the shoes of the fire managers when they get this information, because here you are trying to explain to the public, okay, now what are we going to do, because you just got slapped with a bunch of fires and you don't know where you're starting from and where you're going to end. So if you remember back in 1998, there was a weather phenomenon that was starting to form. It was called La Nina, and it was starting to create some changes in the climate and temperatures and stuff that were going to drastically impact what we call fire season 2000. So through that La Nina building, what we ended up having is by the fall of 1999, we ended up with conditions that were reminiscent of, we had no moisture, our snowpacks were significantly diminished, and again, what was setting itself up 2 years prior to this event was creating conditions to where we didn't recognize it until it actually happened. So had basically lost all their snowpack by February. Our actual snowpack levels that year were only 55 to 70% of normal. And for us, that's unusual, because if you look at the conditions today, we're significantly a lot higher out there, and I know that we'll talk a little bit more in the field. So as we were coming into February, by the end of February, we had already lost all of our snowpack in the valleys. And so live fuel moistures, obviously, they kind of went through a pre-spring green up condition. And so by the time that July arrived, when we started getting the first fires, we were basically a fully cured dead situation, and usually we won't start seeing that until the latter part of July into August. So we were like 3 months way ahead. So our conditions were pretty dire at the time. So the Bitterroot National Forest up until this time actually ended up having about, we already had about 115 fires on the forest before the end of July. And for us, we average anywhere from 135 to 165 fires a year, which is actually quite a bit. Most of that is from lightning. And then this is no different. So how does it all begin? You are in fire season. Guess what? We have a lot of lightning. A lot of lightning tracks basically from southwest to northeast through these valleys. And so you'll see storms develop over the Selway and the Sandwich House and Payette, and it'll track right over and then move to the northeast. So that's kind of how the series of storms is going to come in and start. So you are now looking at July 31st on this map, and I don't know why it says 92. But they basically ended up mapping, like I said, the forest had about 115 starts already. Guess what? Your lightning storm just laid down 78 new strikes. So as of the end of 2000 into 2001, total cost of the fires of 2000 was $85,640,004.25. This was before the burned area emergency rehabilitation stuff that kicked in, which I think was pushing it towards another $50 million is what I kept hearing about. So again, this is kind of now your issue. Again, how would you address the public? What concerns would you be looking at? You had a whole entire valley impacted by the series of events that materialized out of 2000. And then you have to deal with the aftermath of what comes next is recovering. How do you get there? And to prepare for the next round of fires that probably will come.